Good morning, guys. For me it's a Monday and I'm actually on my own today. Max is on holiday, another week. Well, you know, well deserved and whatnot, and obviously we all need to get as many holidays as we can in, even if they aren't abroad ones at the moment. Jamie starts full-time on Tuesday, so that'll be good because, you know, at least I'll have Jamie in as well for most of the days, and I'll actually have him in on Thursday. Which would be nice because Thursdays are normally the day that I'm on my own and normally a day I do the filming. So I just do it with him. Anyway, today, the fun project. What we're doing is we're converting these Collingwood 1901 downlights from, I think they were like, excuse me, I think they were like 120 milliamp or something. I don't know what the wattage is. Basically, AJK Electrical asked me whether or not I could do a conversion on them that would make them dimmable. I said, yeah, you know, it's not a problem at all. It's something we can definitely work out. So what I've done is I've gone online, and I don't, you know, I'll tell you how I do it, and you know, if you guys want to do it yourselves, you can do. Obviously, with doing this, you're going to null and void the Collingwood warranty. That is the only thing to consider. You know, as soon as you start fiddling about with these fittings, obviously their warranty is going to be null and void. I get that. Regardless, not having it dimmable is crazy to me. Why have they done that? I do not know. And it's all down to the driver. The LED that they've put in the fitting is completely dimmable, but it's just trying to obtain a dimmable driver. So if you could obtain a dimmable driver for them, you'd probably be all right. But I can't remember what milliamp they are. I don't have the driver here. I was never given it. I'm literally just changing them over because that's what we've talked about. I did advise trying to get a driver. You couldn't get one, so maybe there isn't one on the market. Who knows? 350 milliamp, lots of drivers available on the market, so it makes sense. What I did is I bought some Cree XP, I think they're XP-G3, yeah they are, XP-G3 LEDs. These are 2700K, and at 350 milliamp they'll be 1 watt. His client had complained that the lights are too bright, so they'll be 1 watt, obviously a little bit less power output. Now honestly, I've got one that is actually on, let me just turn this around just to show you, one that I did the conversion on earlier that's just sitting there, and it is blinding me right now. So I mean, the thing is, these are the LEDs that we use when we do our 1 watt fittings, and they're 183 lumens a watt, so they are really bright, really efficient, much more efficient than the chip that was in there originally. But I don't know what the original brightness of the original chip was or what wattage it was. I assume 5 watt or something. I have no idea. But anyway, these will be, so he'll be able to use a 350 milliamp dimmable LED driver with these. The good thing with 350 milliamp is it's a very common, very common like current for LEDs. It's 350 milliamp and 700 milliamp. 350 milliamp is probably the most popular, and so there is a whole plethora of different LED drivers out there. DMX ones, standard dimmable by toroidal, by resistance, that kind of thing. Yeah, you know, there's loads. Yeah, one's 10 volt, all sorts. Now, I normally recommend, and some of you might be surprised at this, but I actually normally recommend the Saxby 350 milliamp LED drivers, 18 watt. They're dimmable ones. Those ones are pretty reliable. When I used to do installations in gardens, I used to fit those drivers with Collingwood lights. I don't mind telling you that. And it was a pretty good combination. Collingwood drivers, terrible. Don't know what they've done there. Don't use Collingwood drivers. Use the Saxby drivers. Their lights are good, but you know, that's coming from another manufacturer. I don't mind saying that. But anyway, we need to get on and do these conversions. So I say I've done one already. Now it's quite interesting how these come apart. Like, so if you've had one of these fittings, they're like this. I haven't, again, sorry, I don't know how these come out of the ceiling. I assume they must be pretty simple to come out. Maybe it's just, well, the looks of it, there's 2 screws that retain this. So I assume you remove the 2 screws and you get this whole module coming out. Now this little baffle unscrews. I actually can't get this one out. But when you do unscrew it, what you get is this. So this is the baffle that comes out. It's just standard anti-clockwise, pops out. Then there's a optic there, and again I can't get the optic out of this one yet. It's going to require a bit of smacking about a bit, I think. But basically all that optic is held in on is a little, well, I don't know where the rubber's gone for this one, but there's a little rubber edge that just, it's a little silicone edge that just goes around this optic, and that's it. It's just literally held in by press fit and by the fact that this baffle is pushing up against it as well. So that comes out, and then eventually you get this scenario where you've actually got the LED, which I'm not sure what the brand is. I probably could look it up. It says BLX on it. I don't know. I always buy Cree LEDs. I'm aware of Philips and Osram and so on and so forth, but don't know about BLX. Probably just another generic Chinese one. I mean, I assume this body etc. is all cast and so on and so forth. Yeah, I would say so. Or pressed, maybe. Maybe it's pressed. Anyhow, they've used a little silicone pad in there, or a little thermal pad. I think it'll be like a silicone thermal pad that's sticky. That's how they originally dealt with the heat. What I'll be using is I'll be using some thermal paste. You can get them if you go on RS, Farnell, those kind of suppliers, and you look up thermal pastes. They do all sorts of different thermal pastes at different Celsius per watt. Yeah, I mean, most thermal paste will do it. You know, like even like computer CPU thermal paste will work absolutely fine. But what I'm essentially going to do is I need to remove this clip. So see this little black clip on top? It retains the cable. I think you just literally squeeze it with some pliers. He says these pliers are not very good, and pull it out. I'm doing a great job here. It'd be helpful if I actually got the right pliers out. 1 second. Right, so I'm going to use some classic water pump pliers just because I can get a better grip, and essentially it should just squeeze out. I mean, Connie did it. I haven't touched these yet. Connie did it, and I can't seem to do it. I mean, obviously, I don't think Collingwood didn't make these fittings to come apart. You know, they kind of expect you to throw it away and buy a new one. But I think with anything, if you're determined, you can repair bits and pieces. So there you go, look, there's that. I've just undone that little clip. It just needs sort of squeezing together. It pulls out the back, and then you can push the cable up, and there you have, this is as simple as this fitting is, the LED, 2 wires soldered in onto the LED. So what I need to do is go up, desolder that, solder that LED on, and then we'll put a bit of thermal paste on the back of this and then get this back in. Now, oh, I forgot, there was one other bit. What holds this LED down is this little holder. Now, it is designed specifically for this LED chip. And obviously this doesn't exactly fit perfectly over it, but the other one that I put together, it does work. It's a little bit tricky, but basically this little holder, just make sure you've got a clear view there, this little holder will screw down and keep it firmly connected, because that's the important thing, firmly connected to the base of this. If you just leave this floating, you'll reduce the life of the LED. I think it would be okay because this is on a star on an aluminium board, and it is only a 1 watt chip at 350 milliamp, but ideally you want that firmly down onto this body to get the temperatures down, and you should find that if you do that, you'll get the temperatures down to about 60 degrees at junction. Yes, so I'm going to get on and do that soldering, and I'll come back down and show you and put it together. Oh, well, I've got a few more apart. I got the other baffle out, the last one. This one I just cannot get this lens out. They're just a bit of a pain in the butt. For AJK, I'm actually giving him a few spare LEDs, only because from the supplier that I bought this from, which is Lumitronx, I don't know, it was some German company. The minimum order was 6, and I need 4, so he's getting 2 spare LEDs, because there's no point in me keeping the stock, because hopefully no one comes and asks me to do this again. it's one of those. It's funny. It's a funny thing, isn't it? Because I don't mind doing custom stuff, but obviously my focus is always building the lights that we make. So you know, really, that's what I want to be concentrating my time on. But you know, I mean, especially in the early years, at the minute, like I'm at the minute, I'm not going to say no to any work because it's you know, we need to keep stuff coming in, stuff turning around, etc. And yeah, we need to get on and make bits and pieces. Yeah, I literally look. I just it should just fall out. Literally, these other ones just fell straight out of the fitting. I don't know why this one just doesn't want to. Suggestions? I think I might, if I get a really thin Allen key, I might be able to push it down the side of the cable here and tap onto the lens. I've got this one might do it. This one isn't as thin as I would like. Oh, there is room though. There you go. Well, if you guys get stuck, hey, so this is interesting. This one has got that this little silicone band that I said about. These ones don't have it. I thought I'd lost it, but basically I pulled another one apart and it didn't have it at all. So I assume actually that it just never had it. So I don't know what's going on there at the Chinese Collingwood facility, but someone's half assembling them with some bits and not assembling them with the others. I assume that little silicone is what makes these IP56, I don't know, whatever they are, IP44 probably. So effectively we've got two downlights that aren't actually IP rated. Well, of course they're IP rated. Everything's got an IP rating. But they're not IP44 or 55 or 56 or whatever they're meant to be. So yeah, not good, is it? Not good. But that's what you get, of course. One of those things. So anyway, what I was going to do, I'm going to go desolder all of these. I'll take 3 more LEDs, going to solder these back on, and I'll come back down and start assembling them with you. I'm slightly confused by the sticker that was on it that said 3000K on one of the fittings. Like all the labels say 2700, but one of them had a label on it that said 3000K, and it must have been done by Collingwood because the colour. If you look there, the colour of the sticker versus the colour that it is now tells me that it was on there from the manufacturer. Was one of them 3000K when it was meant to be 2700? Oh, that's make me question a few things. Anyway, so I've soldered those all on. So there's one just inside there. So what I'll do, and hopefully the solder connections will hold up alright. I say that because aluminium boards can be quite tricky to solder to, in that the aluminium itself dissipates the heat really well. So when you're trying to solder, what you want to do is you want to get your board and everything else up to temperature, and it's kind of like resisting that. But this is my gun, my thermal paste, and I'm just going to squirt a bit in the bottom. I don't know if you can see that or not. But yeah, so I've squirted a bit in the bottom, and I'll push my LED down onto that, give it a good squish around. And then the real tricky bit, I bend my cables back down. So the real tricky bit is getting the holder back in. There's something in here. Shouldn't be there. Right, yeah, getting the holder back in. I mean, I guess it should be orientated in such a way. Maybe I should get my other camera in here so you can see what I'm doing. So yeah, so as I say, the real tricky bit is just getting this holder in. It's quite fiddly. The best thing to do is grab a magnetic screwdriver, whack a screw on there, stick it in the hole, and then try and pull it round. Or I can use the tweezers, and just try and pull it round to the right location. So it's I've got to admit, like doing this LED is very fiddly. It's not straightforward, and that's mainly because it's such a deep hole to get into. Interestingly, we were talking about how we deal with our like winter lull. If we don't have a winter lull, we may not do it, but we were considering, do we come out with our own premium downlight range? I'd love to know your thoughts, let me know in the comments, but obviously I was trying to make a consideration of, what do you pay for downlights? So I think I'd love to know, can someone please tell me, what do the Collingwood 1901 downlights cost? What do they charge at the wholesalers? Because I have no idea, and I was talking to my old colleague Ricky from XP-G3 Electrical, and he reckoned that you can't get a price on them. Something about you have to get them to come in and do like the project, or I don't know. It just sounds really odd to me, because I've always thought Collingwood just sort of sell anything to anyone. You see them on all the online sites and whatever. God, this is really difficult. Such a tight spot, but yeah, it's something that I was considering, and I was just trying to sort of weigh up what the costs are. My products are normally priced below Collingwood for quite a few of them. A couple of them are above. Kind of depends what you're looking at. It's around that kind of price range, gives you an idea, at least. I'm just going to reposition that LED. But yeah, they're positioned around about that. And I was thinking, is there a downlight I can come up and do? Nice British made, user replaceable LED, of course. User replaceable everything. That's how I roll. I think that'd be quite a nice idea. I'm going to guess at these downlights are about 60 quid, something like that. So, if they are about 60 quid, might be something I can do. If I do something sort of like similar product range wise. I don't know why some of these baffles don't fit in the others. I don't know. I really would love to know your thoughts. Would it be something you'd buy if it was around about 60 quid to you guys? Is that way too much? You've got to remember that when you're buying downlights that are 15-20 quid, they're Chinese, mass assembled and whatnot, and they are throwaway. I don't think we'd even be able to our cost price would be way above that. You've got to remember the daily day rate in China is something like, I think it's like $3 a day or something. So you just can't compete at that level. You can't compete at price level. Baffling. Sorry, just as I'm going on my chat. So when you're doing that, you are buying a certain level of product, and that's that. It'd be nice if obviously people accepted that things costed a little bit more, but obviously I get that some customers are just like, no, I'm not paying that. And of course, you get the Chinese product, and it does still last, for a good few years. So there is certainly a market for it. But what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to bring back our British engineering. I want to change things. I want to, bring the money back into the country. Just recently, I've just done a sale. I do sell stuff around the world, and the recent one was Sweden, and it's just nice. It's nice to sell products to other countries, because it means we're bringing money back into the country that we normally, are sending out of the country all the time. So yeah, I'd love to know your thoughts. I really would. But that's that one together. That's that clip back in. A couple more to build, and then I'm done. But what do you think? Would you convert one of these yourself? Would you need to? Would you just buy something else? Love to know. don't ask me to do any. I would actually. If you did ask me, I would do some, but begrudgingly. See you soon, guys.